There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want. Playing games, no. There's no denying what we want. There's no denying what we want.
All right, guys, so that took some time. The 2K primer, I did use a reducer to kind of thin it out and use it as sealer, but it was still pretty thick. So I had to step down from the 320 to the 180, and then I chased it with the 320. It helped it cut down a lot faster on the 2K primer. So we got the rear bumper all sanded out. I am going to remask all of this so that way it's nice and fresh, but we're going to be painting the molding as well. Instead of painting it black like I normally do with bumpers, painting the bottom and the molding black before painting the white, I'm just going to paint it all as one unit, let it completely dry, sand that out, tape it up, paint the white black on the molding. But this right here is obviously going to be black already because we're going to tape it off. The front bumper is completely sanded down, and I just washed it to get all of the residuals and dust off the bumper before we spray it. But I only sanded the top half of the bumper with 180, 320, and then the bottom half, the most visual areas like the sides, the pockets, I sanded that down with the 320. Now I didn't spend too much time with the grill and stuff because it's going to be painted black anyways. It's going to be at an angle where you're really not going to see it, like so, right? So it kind of helped me cut down the time of sanding. That's why I always keep the gates locked, because they come flying down to go right into the creek. Anyways, I got the fender sanded down, got the radiator support sanded down, got the other side also sanded down as well too. And I just reminded myself that I forgot the T-bar. Shouldn't take long to sand at all, but I just rinsed everything down to get all the sanding dust out of the way, and I'm about to dry it all up right now. So this is where putting more lamps up will be so beneficial, like right here in this dark spot. Hopefully the camera can pick it up when we paint. So guys, we got everything all kind of set up where they're gonna be sitting at for the spray job, and we have the rear bumper taped up, or at least the line is taped up, and the bottom half of the bumper is taped up. I was gonna paint the whole entire front bumper white, but I didn't want to have to spend a lot of time trying to sand down the clear on the white to scuff up for the black trim paint. So I instead just taped it all up since it already is sanded, and once it's all said and done, we'll just peel it all back, tape the white, paint the black, so on and so forth. T-bracket sanded down, it's gonna sit right there on the table. All of this right here is taped up. We're going to be painting a little bit on the back side of the support because it was kind of blue as well too. Not too crazy with it, and I'm not too worried about all of this because you're not going to see it. The reason why I don't want to spend so much time trying to scuff up this whole radiator support is that the rest of the engine bay is not going to match it anyways, so I'd rather just have this back to white instead of the blue it was. So I'm just going to paint the top half of that. Everything from the back is taped up all the way to the door, only because this whole entire section is going to be sanded down anyways, so I'm not worried about if there's going to be overspray. But we got it taped up enough that, you know, hopefully the overspray doesn't go too far and cake up on the window and stuff, but enough for me to just kind of fan out here and then continue back. We got the hood taped up. I'm gonna tape it up a little bit more right here, but we got it all taped up for when we do the clear coat. We'll peel this all out and then we'll clear this whole entire thing together. But I'm pretty much ready to rock and roll. It is freaking 6:30 right now. Lost a lot of daylight and spent a lot of time really just taping everything up, and it was kind of hard to tape because I did wash the car down, so the tape wasn't really sticking to the wet surface, so had to dry all of that up. Right here we have Valspar NH512 Polar White. We have the high-tech universal medium speed reducer, and mixing cup, all of my PPE, my guns over there. I'm ready to mix this up and get to spraying. It is 8:01, guys. It has been about 25 minutes since the last coat. I did 3 coats in total. I actually kind of ran out of paint. I had to stop and remix some paint to finish off the 3rd coat, but I think we have some pretty good coverage on all of the parts as far as the bumper, the fenders, the radial support, and the T-bracket goes. I just assist the drying time with my heat gun right here. I kind of went over you know, the body panels twice with a quick little rundown with the heat gun, because you don't want to mess up or bubble up the paint. So twice, it's already dried to the touch, and I'm gonna give it a few more minutes because I still got to clean up my gun and stuff before we do the clear coat. I'm super stoked. It does look like this is definitely going to be a lot cleaner, a lot brighter than the engine bay, obviously, but I think it's about the same shade because Polar White has a hint of yellow in it, kind of like Championship White, but I don't want to disrespect the name. But I'm super stoked to see the radial support the same color, because that blue was just not fitting in the engine bay at all. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take off the masking on the hood, because we are going to be clearing the hood. But first, I'm going to clear the radial support so that way I can close it. And I actually oversprayed a little bit right there, so I got to sand that off a little bit and then clean the hood and all that. We'll mix it the clear coat and we'll get down with that in just a minute. Never used these clear before. Kind of curious on how well it works. European 2.1 V series, and this calls for a 2-part 1 mix. So 2-part clear, 1-part activator. We have medium activator. I've always used medium. I don't think I've ever used slow or fast, but I mean, it's kind of cold. I am blowing air out of my mouth, but hopefully it being cold kind of allows the clear coat to kind of settle a little bit more, but hopefully doesn't cause it to run because it's cold and it doesn't dry as fast as it should. They only have medium in stock, so that's what we are rolling with. All right, guys, so I just did the first layer of clear, and I must say the clear lays down really nice. Now, this is the first coat, and I kind of went a little heavy. I wouldn't even say it's medium. I went pretty heavy. You can see there are some runs right there very lightly. I'm not worried because clear coat, you can always cut it out. I have a little run right here, like a little line, and I have a small little run on the bumper right here, like 2 dots. This is not a big deal because it is flat surface, so it's easy to like sand out. And I have a little bit right here because I kind of tripped a little bit, so I went a little close, and well, there's some runs there. But for the first coat, not too shabby. Carbon fiber hood looking decent. There is some, like, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but you can see I was a different color right here opposed to the little like Kevlar color looking weave over here. That's all of the area where the gel coat has gone so far down that you can feel the weave. That's why it's colored like that. But it is looking good on the hood, and I don't think I'm gonna do the radial support anymore because I don't want this to be shinier than the rest of the bay, obviously. But I did do a decent amount on the radial support to keep the hood in this position, so I don't have to go back and do all that. Same goes for the T-bar. I did 2 good coats right off the rip so that it has a nice gloss to it and I don't have to go back on it again. It is tacked up already, and I'm about to mix up some more clear, or a little bit more clear. I have about I have about, I don't know, a little under half, but I want to mix up a little bit more to have it in the cup in case we run out. My main concern area for clear coat is the fenders and the hood and top of the bumpers, because if you guys look, it is already looking really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just continue the clear coat, guys. I'm not gonna show you the same thing over and over again, so I'm probably gonna end it at 2 medium coats. It is currently 10:26 and I finished the last clear coat at 8:40. This is the struggle of painting at night when it is cold and using the medium activator. So I got my propane heater, just cycling between the bumper, the hood, the fender, just moving it around to distribute the heat so that way we can dry it up a little bit quicker. I mean, it is dried for the most part, but pretty tacky on the part away from the heater. Like the bumper itself is still kind of tacky to leave an imprint if I was to touch it. The hood is pretty dry to the touch already. I'm gonna have to flip the hood up overnight because the cats like to kind of jump off the roof and walk on the hood, because every time I would come out there's paw prints on here. So I'm gonna have to flip it up and let it dry like that the rest of the night. The only downfall is if there are any flies or anything like that flying on here pretty hard, it would cake up, but I'm not too worried about it. So because it is cold, because I'm using medium activator, I do have a ton of runs everywhere, especially having runs already on the first coat and then having to do the medium wet second coat. And I can see a very faint line right here, little run. This one kind of blended out after I did the second coat, but you can still see about 3 drips right there. The hood is pretty straight, but I did notice a slight run right here, slightly. It's like maybe an inch. And also one right here in the front. There's a drip right here, a drip right there. Not a big deal, clear coat. It's a flat surface, I can sand it out. This fender has a run right there, very slightly. I think maybe 2,000 grit will take that out, no problem. And the bumper itself has, obviously I've shown you guys runs before, and the most noticeable run would be this one right here. This is the biggest run on the rear bumper. The front bumper kind of leveled itself out with that little run that I had in the corner, but when I moved the bumper from there to here, I accidentally leaned on the bumper and there's freaking lint all over the passenger side right here. Not a big deal. I'm almost certain it could be sanded out. I got all of my stuff put away. My gun is cleaned for the next time we use it. Got all of my paint equipment back into place. Everything all in the trash. Got the table cleaned up. And what I did was I took steel wool and some old red Scotch-Brite, stuck it on the floor, ran my foot on it, and got most of the overspray off, especially in this general area. I still have a little bit there because the table is in the way, but I'll definitely clean more of this later. Not really too worried about it because the amount of time I spend here in the garage, all the walking that I do here, the paint will lift itself off the concrete eventually. I don't think there's really much more to it in this video, guys, as far as tonight goes, because I am pretty much done with what I wanted to do in today's task. Paint the fender, paint the radius support, paint the hood, the bumpers, the T-bracket, and I'm super stoked because now that we got this out of the way, we can start working on the actual body of the car itself. I'm probably going to sit here for another 30 minutes and let this cure up a little bit more before I drag this whole entire table into the garage and let it dry overnight. But as far as we go, this is going to be the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the progress update, the paint job on the front half of the CRX. If you did enjoy this video though, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for the body paint, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.